Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. How can we make our children to be obedient to us? It seems that we are fighting a difficult battle when our children listen more to their friends and are easily influenced by television.
Yeah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. If you're obedient to Allah and His Prophet, your children will be obedient to you. And you know what? To obey Allah and His Prophet, you have to obey a shaykh. That's it. Because to reach the Prophet, you have to have his inheritor in front of you. And it's not something that whenever you like, you're going to be obedient. Whenever you like, you're not going to be obedient. Whenever you like, you're going to obey. Whenever you don't like, you're not. No, it has to be constant now that time. And it has to start from the beginning, not at the end. So many times now people starting from the end. We say, they're not obeying us. Have you found a sheikh? No, but I'm finding you now. Why they still not? It's too late. The tree already grow. You cannot bend the tree now. Pray for us. Of course we can pray for you, but you want it to be very effective? Do it from the beginning. Do it from the beginning. First be obedient to Allah. Are you making your prayers? Are you making your salawats? Are you making your zikr? If you are, if it is important, say, I'm praying for it. No. Are you doing it with your wife? Are you doing it with your children? Are you making it a priority? Are you making it important that as a family, we are praying together? No, you're not. You're coming together for what? For Memorial Day. You're coming together for Bayram, but you're not coming together for worshipping. Then it's not going to be effective. But I worship. So what? You worship. You have to make your whole family now together to be with you. But you are not doing it, so why they must listen to you now? You're not obeying Allah. You're not obeying the Prophet. And you are not making them to see that you are putting Allah and His Prophet first. And you're not explaining and raising children. Nobody is raising children nowadays. They just give birth to children. And they give their children to the system early. And they don't believe that Allah also has a system. They trust in the secular system or the kafir system. But they are not educating their children in the system of Allah, in Islam, in the adab of Islam, in the spiritual lifestyle of Islam. Then that time, if you're not teaching them, you cannot even blame them. You are responsible, yes. You know what? You are responsible to your children until they reach the age of maturity. If you're not teaching them properly until they reach the age of maturity, you are responsible for them for their whole lives now. If you teach them until the age of maturity, then they still disobey, you still do other things, you are not responsible because you've already raised them. You help them to grow. People now, they're not helping them to grow. So many, there's more concern about their school and their education. They're more concerned about whether this one is going to grow up to be a good person or not. Isn't it? They're not teaching manners. They're not teaching them morality or ethics. They're not teaching. If anything, they teach them the opposite, to say it's okay to cheat and to lie for the dunya. It is okay to chase after the dunya at an early age. So that kid is going to grow up with that kind of mentality. We are not bringing our children to the masjids, to the mevluts so much, but we're bringing them to Six Flags, Funland. We're bringing them to shopping malls. We're bringing them to parades. So, of course, they're going to grow up not listening to us and more into dunya because that's what you're putting them inside. You're saying, okay, prayer and Jummah, very serious. Even if you bring no fun, no nothing. But now when they have Christmas party or New Year party, oh, everything is so fun. Birthday celebration, everything is so fun. So the kid's heart is now going to get very attracted to the dunya, not to the akhirat. That's what's going to happen. So later, when they grow up and they're not listening to you, don't blame them, blame yourself. How are you going to put importance If you put importance to the days that Allah put importance, then they are going to pick up. But you're not doing it too. You're not finding it good to go to holy associations. Only when it fits to your schedule and it fits to your ego, or when you have something to ask and you're in trouble, then you're going to go to holy places or holy people to ask for prayers for the dunya too. Only then you are going to go. So your children are going to be worse than you, definitely. If you bring them up to put in them the love of the Prophet, to bring them to the tombs of saints, to make it fun for them, to explain to them, to raise them, to make them to understand and love awliya Allah and prophets and zikr, to be involved in them, then that time, even with school or television, they will have a filter. They'll be able to filter. You're not teaching them. They're going to spend so much time outside with their friends, and everything is pulling them to the dunya. They're going to watch television. Even if you tell them, pray 5 times a day, which is wrong also to force them like that, because you are not doing it. If you are doing it, they're not going to find it a burden. We know so many people here in this country. They were unbelievers, and they came into Islam. And they have children. And they are praying, and their children are praying next to them. And they're making it to be nice and easy and fun. And they're saying, come, pray with me. They're showing their children the lifestyle of Islam. How many Muslims they are really doing that? They are not. So now, those kids, they'll wake up and say, oh, I love my father. I love my mother. My father and my mother, they love Allah and His Prophet. So I love Prophet and Allah too. My friends saying, I must love to this dunya. This television saying, I must love to my desires. But you know what? Dunya and my friends, they don't love me as much as my father and mother. So I'm not going to follow them so much. So you're going to give them intelligence at an early age. But people are not investing in their children now. They're not investing in their children for akhirat. They put so much money to invest them in this dunya. Then later when the kid grows up, 16 years old, 19 years old, 20 years old, then they come running to sheikhs and saying, please pray for him. He's not praying, you know. He's not fasting, you know. I said, since when you fasted? Since when you pray? You're not doing it. Why he has to do? Please pray for him. We can pray for him. But you already raised him wrong. And you're not making him to fall in love with Islam. Because you are not in love with Islam. That time, if you do everything properly, and you are in Jamaat, that's why we say Jamaat is important, because there is a lifestyle. Everyone has their own lifestyle, but at least in that Jamaat, you have the power and the strength to follow the lifestyle of the Prophet ﷺ. You have a clear guidance now. Otherwise, you're going to make up your own lifestyle. Then it's not going to be successful. It's going to fail. Dunya and Akhirat is going to fail. You may have the dunya too, but the family will be broken up. There'll be so much wrong feelings inside. They'll be so much miserable. And they're not investing. They're not putting anything for their grave. So yes. So these are the things. These are the ways. Don't blame the education system at that time. Because the dunya is meant to pull us away from Allah. Don't blame the television that time. You're not teaching them about the love of Allah. What Allah can give them. What Allah is giving them. What Prophet is giving them at an early age. You're not teaching them all that. And you're not showing them the difference between the television and what Allah is saying. Later you say, when they have maturity, they're going to understand. They don't understand because they've already been conditioned. They've already been imprinted. Then, if they're that, are you saying there is no hope? There is some hope, of course. But maybe that one will have to go through so much more training before he comes to an understanding by himself. That's why I said sometimes the bad things that we think is bad, tragedies that is happening to us, it is more mercy. Because for a lot of people, unless they meet with bad things happening in their lives, they will not turn themselves to Allah. What Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, what Holy Prophet is saying, the sign that Allah does not love that servant, Allah does not even give the unbeliever a toothache. Because the believer, with every difficulty that he's going through, immediately he will be reminded of Allah. Meaning that trouble, that pain, will always make him to come close to Allah. So many times, people who are easy, they have comfort in their lives, they forget Allah. Check yourself. I check myself. I check myself. Sometimes when I'm in need of something, I'm always asking, say, please, Ya Rabbi, please, you're so close. But once you get it, you don't make that same kind of prayer. You don't have that same kind of intensity, that same kind of passion, the same kind of closeness. Isn't it? Yeah. So, inshallah, first fix yourself. Then you need to know when to fix the kids so that it becomes most effective. If they already reached a certain age where they're already grown up, then it's done. But pray for them still and ask help, because Allah will also make them to turn around according to the prayer of the awliya. There's so many of us, I mean, we're not saying, we are not claiming anything. We're not claiming we are perfect or we're good. And so many of us here, we went through our childhood also. Our parents didn't give us any religious training, isn't it? Properly, or spirituality, nothing. But later on, something happened to us and our spirit is calling, and we found a shaykh, we found a jamaat. And that is because of the prayers of the awliya Allah. Because their look is on those ones who are sincere. There is still hope. Of course there is. As long as you are breathing, there is still mercy and there is still hope. But not single one of us now is not regretting that we didn't meet Shaykh Effendi earlier. If only we had met him earlier, if only we met him when we were kids, if only our parents were following sheikhs, how different it would be. Just to think like that and to say astaghfirullah, it is good. We are not saying that Allah did not have plans for us. We are not saying that maybe Allah wanted us to go through all these worlds and all these troubles to come here. We are not saying that. But we are saying that we are just regretting from the wrong things that we have done. Inshallah, may it be easy for you.